An agent with the FBI has been abducted.
She's my daughter.
The Old Man, what a cool show. We rewatched season one just so I could prepare for season two again. Before we dive into that, how are you feeling?
It's wonderful to be back for season two. And you're right, I did have a health scare. I was right on death's door. I didn't know if I was going to be making movies or doing anything. And I look at season one now, some of those fight scenes, and I kind of wince because I didn't know it at the time, but I had a 9 by 12 inch mass, a tumor in my stomach from lymphoma. It was a lymphoma. And I was doing all those fight scenes, getting hit in the stomach. I couldn't believe it. But
Wow.
I'm so glad that the cast and the crew all hung together to wait it out with me. And about a year later, we came back and started working again. It was really wonderful.
So we had to wait till the last episode to see you and John Lithgow together. So
Uh,
when season two starts, the two of you are right into it. What was it like to get together with him finally
oh,
and start shooting the new season?
yeah, we had just wonderful time. We both come from showbiz families, so we had a lot in common. And we approached the work in the same way, both pretty open guys, try to give as much love and compassion to everybody around us. And that seems to work as far as being friends, and doing good work together. I really enjoyed it. And that goes for Amy Brenneman and Alia Shawkat as well. Terrific, very lucky in that way.
When I think about all the cool characters you've played, Dan Chase, man, he is so cool. And we get to see that unfold over the course of in season one in 7 episodes, 7 hours with this guy. What was it about Dan Chase that clicked with you?
Well, I was fascinated by the CIA spy aspect. We have together. We have with us a guy who's our technical advisor, Christopher Huddleston, who was a former CIA agent, and I got to find out some amazing things. Well, one thing that I had in common with the guy, not to the extent that he had to act, but we're both actors. CIA spies, they're probably the best actors in the world. They're acting for their lives. So I could relate to the whole job of playing Dan Chase in that respect. Uh, Poor Dan, I think he's played so many characters so well for so long, he doesn't know who the hell he is.
Oh, it's so cool to see some of my favorite actors doing television shows. And I looked through your film. I mean, man, it's been like since the 60s. You did some shows on Seal Hunt, I think it was.
See, yeah, my dad.
Seal Hunt. Sea Hunt. Was TV something like, did you wanted to get into? Did you see what was happening over in that realm and think you wanted to jump into that?
Well, I was concerned, for a long time. My father, Lloyd Bridges, who was in several TV series, I saw how hard he worked, and also how disappointed he was that it was TV and not a movie. That movies there was more concentration, pulling off the detail, and everything was a better quality. But today, that's not the case. You've got movies like Succession, and that are so well done, great people doing them, and the quality is spectacular. I was concerned about that, getting involved with this series, but I'm so glad that I didn't let that stop me from getting involved, because that proved not to be the case. That feels like I'm making a movie. I mean, same attention to detail. The cinematography in our show is just brilliant, as is the
Yeah.
direction. It's all top notch.
The thing I love most about The Old Man is you never really quite know what's going to happen. I mean, every episode sort of leaves you guessing and hanging.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Do you have like an ideal ending in mind for Dan Chase?
Well, that's the thing, man. That's a big difference between movies and a series. Series like life, or in this particular series, we don't know where it's going. I mean, I certainly don't, but John Steinberg, our writer, our showrunner, he doesn't know all the specifics either. So just like you get surprises when you watch it, as an actor, I get surprises when I find out what my character is gonna do. I don't know it, going in.
Dan Chase is drawn out of retirement. Mr. Bridges, have you thought about retirement? Does that even like cross your mind?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think about it all the time. And my strategy and making movies certainly is I try to resist it. I don't want to do movies because I know what it takes. Not only the hard work, but also time away from my family and all this other stuff that I like to do. So I spend a lot of time resisting things that I'm offered. I'm in a very fortunate position to be able to do that. And so the things that I end up doing, like the old man, are things that I resisted, but meeting with the other artists, bathing in the story, it becomes too intriguing to resist, and I get sucked into that, and that's kind of my process.
I rhymed off some movies of yours at the beginning that I love. And then I remembered how much I liked your Oscar speech in 2010. I rewatched it on YouTube. I found it, rewatched it. And man, what a cool life, right? Growing up in a showbiz family. What has that meant to you, Mr. Bridges?
Oh, it's like a wild dream. Gosh, I'm so fortunate to be born in the bed that I was, born into. My parents were wonderful folks. I'm a product of nepotism. I guess that's not too unusual. The dad's making shoes. It's not too unusual to be a shoemaker, whatever. That's what you learn as you're growing up. But I've been so fortunate, and the movies that you rattled off there, all those wonderful stories. I've been One of the things that I've done since Starman was take photographs with this funny looking camera called a wide lux, and I make gifts of books of those photographs for the cast and crew. And so I get to look at those books, and it brings me right back to those moments. That camera has been discontinued because the factory in Japan is burned down about 30 years ago. And my wife, Susan, who is also a photographer, we're in the process now of remaking that camera, the wide lux, with an outfit in Germany, and it should be coming out soon next year. So we're excited about that.
Awesome. Okay, before I let you go, I want to ask you about one of your movies. I had to choose one, so I'm going to choose Big Lebowski. It turned 26 this year. Man, I mean, does it surprise you the longevity of that movie? You must get it every single day, everywhere you go.
Oh man, that movie is certainly one of my favorites. But the Coen brothers, they know how to make movies. And unlike many movies that I've done, I can't think of another movie I've done where it's manifested in these different blooms. You have Lebowski fests now that go on for days. There was a book that I wrote with a friend called The Dude and the Zen Master that was directly from the Lebowski. I think there's a book called Two Gentlemen from Verona that's like as if Shakespeare wrote wrote the screenplay. It has all these offshoots. It's wonderful, but I'm so happy to have been a part of telling that story when working with those guys.
But could you imagine that at the time?
No idea. I knew it was funny. I was surprised when it first came out. It didn't do that well. People didn't kind of get it or something. But yeah, I've had to be a hit I think in Europe and then splash back over here.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
To avenge someone, to show somebody you love them. There's no going back from it.